We're on the land of the Bidjigal people. My connecting neighbours are the Gweagal people of Kurnell. If I'm looking into the city, you've got the Gadigal people. To my west, you've got the Kamilaroi people of Liverpool. All my connections through my dad. So from our elders, past, present and emerging, I welcome you.
Well, my name is Shayne Williams. I grew up at La Perez, and my connection here is that my father and his family, they grew up here. My father was born in Parrington's Women's Hospital on 13th of August 1922, and his sister was actually born here on the Georges River in a little house down at Hurstville Street.
I'm Barb Sims, born in Gweagal Lane in Sydney in 1948. I'm a Bidjigal woman, Gweagal, connecting to the Kurnell people through my father, and it'd be remiss of me not to mention my mother's country, a Wandi woman from the Yuin Nation, South Coast, and my connection through the Georges River area, it's through my father with his travels up there.
My name is Hill-Trindall. I am a proud Kamilaroi woman and I live on Dharawal country in the Sutherland Shire. I'm a proud community member and I love being part of the community and sharing our culture.
Well, the marine life, was pretty good here, so you was never short of food. Fishing is in our blood. All I ever did, growing up was, fishing and swimming and diving around the La Perez. So we practically lived in the water. In a sense, living there was like a classroom, where and you learned through trial and error as well. So when we were swimming, if you went under, they just grab you and pull you back up again. We learned all about, how to read the weather patterns and the tides and know what fish were coming on the bite. Became very immersed in the Botany Bay region, Well, my family, were very active political spokespersons, for the Aboriginal struggle. My great uncle, Joe Anderson, also known as King Burriga, was a well-known activist. There was a great number of Aboriginal people here at the time. You see, my father's grandmother, Ellen Anderson, purchased a big block of land in Hurstville Street, Peakhurst, and so did her cousin, who had a big property right next to hers, and they allowed Aboriginal people to come from different parts of Sydney and also New South Wales, to get away from the management of the way Aboriginal people were being controlled on these reserves. My father used to always, bring me back this way for drives, and show me where they lived. From what I can gather, it was a very good place to live. A lot of Aboriginal people who lived, down at Saltpan Creek, they had jobs. They were living free of, the management systems. But, my father's father, old Tom Williams, he served in the First World War with the Light Horse. He served in Palestine. Like many other soldiers over there, he got malaria. The malaria killed him. It caused a heart attack. They would find any excuse, to take the children. And, not having a senior male person in the family was, one of those excuses.
I think a lot of people don't know the Aboriginal history of the area, and I think it's important that we, share that culture and other people can learn about what's truly here.
I think what a lot of people get wrong is that they're not aware of what was here, and what Aboriginal people did to push back against, the Protection Board and also the political struggle as well. The Aboriginal Protection Board was, quite harsh at the time. Our freedoms were being suppressed. The only time Aboriginal people were allowed in the hospitals was when, the women were given birth. But that was actually a trap, because as soon as they gave birth to those children, the Protection Board would turn up and remove those children straight from the cribs. We had no rights whatsoever. I wasn't classified as a citizen myself until 1967, so you can only imagine, what it was like for our parents. The activism was real too. It wasn't tokenistic, and we had no intention to become dependent on government whatsoever. My uncle even wanted to, sell wood as a business as well, firewood. But because we were there in numbers, that attracted the attention of the non-Aboriginal people who saw us as an eyesore, even though the land was ours, and made many attempts, to get rid of us. But it was difficult for them to do that because it was held in freehold title. There's even records of my great uncle, Hugh Anderson, come up here, to Hurstville Council and paying the rates. They knew how to adapt to this Western way of life,
Taken away from the mission as a stolen gem when our mother had a heart attack. We were taken up past 8 in the morning, went to Albion Street Court, charged with neglect, and then separated from our brothers. They went to Ralston, the three of them. Ruth and I went to Bidjigal. I remember so vividly feeding this little baby. I was 8. I had no idea what to do. I changed the nappy and I smelled my fingers many times. The mess was under my nails. I can always smell it, always. Bathing with other girls in a bathtub, 3 other girls. Sharing a bed that wasn't your bed. Your mail was open before you got it. Edelweiss check days once a fortnight. We had worm tablets done once a fortnight. Called home from school to take your tablets. It was degrading. You mission kids need to go home and take your worm tablets. I'd remember walking home from a girl with school one day, really, really bad. And I was dying to go to the toilet. And I get to her place and she said to her mother, "Mum, can Barbara use our toilet?" She said, "No, let her go down and use her own toilet." I left the mission to get a job when I was about 15. I got an exemption. I went to the welfare in town. My paper was stamped disease-free. I presented this paper and they said, "What was wrong with you?" I said, "Nothing." I was on a knitting machine. They undone the bolts. They moved the knitting machine away, so I was by myself. I sat by myself at lunchtime. I sat by myself at morning tea. I was seen as diseased. They're all the things I'd gone through. I overcome all that.
From primary to high school, it was only me and another Aboriginal boy in the school. So we went through to year 12 together. We both faced racism on both sides. We all also got picked to do the acknowledgement of country every time, not knowing really what it was when we were teenagers.
Living out at La Perouse on the mission, work was scarce and nobody wanted to employ Aboriginal men. And a lot of those men had done it tough, really tough in looking after families. There was one group of people that employed our Aboriginal men, and that was a Chinese market garden down near the cemetery. And they would work all day for 10 bob a dollar. When you think about it, what a dollar could brought you back in the day. They were really looked after by them before any builders, workers, labour trades, anything got them on board. It was the Chinese market gardeners. And then I look over at Hurstville, our communities is all Chinese owned and Chinese operated over here. And it's just flourishing. My
auntie, she told me that when her dad was young. It was just all cow paddocks here and there's only one little bush track to the school.
I've seen the area change dramatically. The influx now with the Chinese community in here, it wasn't such before. Migration's been really growing, and when you look at other cultures, I came in, I did a citizenship welcome. I couldn't believe the amount of people from the Indian background. It was amazing. This is such a great council, great community, a great place to work. If you've got a business over here, it's just unfolding everywhere. We'll always have a contents of Aboriginal people. We'll always have our people over here. When we look at the Bidjigal people or the Gweagal people, we look at those, it'll always be that giving a sensibility and pride of ownership.
Growing up in Illawong, we've had the Georges River on the left-hand side and Woronora on the right-hand side, and the two rivers meet right at the centre point at Illawong. And I love the fact that when you go over Como Train Bridge, you can actually see where the waters meet. I feel like that's my place, and it's just such an incredible area. It's got so much native life, so much beautiful native plants. I love it here.
Well, my dad used to talk about coming over here and going up the river. We'd even got oysters up the river, and I was privileged enough to take a group of people from Dharawal Aboriginal Corporation up there, and my friends got a dive boat. We went on that, we had a barbecue, and reminiscing as you go along the river. I remember that being there. I remember having parties on the other side of the Cooks River Bridge and Tom Ugley's Bridge when the old football days, and you can reminisce about all that. It hasn't changed a great deal in memory-wise, but the influx of people coming in there, it's just abundance of different cultures and nationalities coming through there. We weren't lost to be found, we've always been there. We'll continue to be there, thrive and flourish. And at the same time, I'm learning about them. So it's a two-way street for me. I see all that. Sharing is everything. And we've got to give it away to keep it.
Now that I'm an adult, I feel that I've got the more knowledge to be able to teach the kids in the school environment, as I'm an Aboriginal education officer. If I had that when I was a kid, I think it would have been a lot easier. And I feel absolutely proud to be one of those mentors for the kids now. We're starting to get our culture back, and I'm seeing things, everyone is starting to accept the culture and do it right. You can see that preschool's actually getting it right, embedding Aboriginal culture. They read the Dreamtime storybooks. They expand on that by doing art, by getting an Aboriginal person to come in and do art. But it's not just once-off thing, it's actually a long-term thing that they keep on coming back and getting you to come into that centre. So yeah, I feel like when we share our culture, that other people feel empowered to share their own culture. I feel like with preschools and stuff that they're actually starting to get it now, embedding Aboriginal culture into their programming and into their centres. And it's not just a tokenistic tick of the box, it's actually they really want to embed it in there. I think it's important that everybody embraces everybody.
We need to walk together, and we need to let them know, it's not like it was back in the day. It's different now. We've moved forward a lot. But don't take away the past. I am owned by the past. I'll always have the past in me. I'm connected to my land.
Well, unfortunately, the properties we had, and that was quite sizable as well, are gone. I don't know exactly how they got lost. Maybe it occurred when my great-grandmother died. So, it's changed radically, but, the history, all the Aboriginal history and my family's history, it hasn't gone anywhere. So this place has been sort of hidden in plain view, for quite some time. I still feel there's a strong Aboriginal presence here, and I feel equally strong, when I come back to this area. Aaron Hughes, he became very inspired by my great uncle, King Barriga. So he decided to, name an organisation after him, the Barriga Foundation, and invited me to be a founding member. The organisation is fundamentally philanthropic. We have an expats program, so we support young Aboriginal students to get through to year 12. We create digital software as well. We developed a language platform, a digital platform that local communities can use to populate with their own language, to try and revitalise their language. And I, in particular, conduct special development programs and cultural awareness programs for the organisation.
Being a part of that era, it makes you really aware of who you are.
Well, it's all about belonging, and the land is a part of us. It's inseparable.
We don't own the land owns us. We are part of Mother Nature's land. It's her land. We look after her, she'll look after us. And we go back to country. When we pass away, we've gone back to country.
Where I live is the most beautiful place. Being here with my aunties and uncles, growing up here as a kid, we'd sit around the table and we'd have like rabbit stew and turtle soup, and all our family the kids would run around and just, being in the moment and having a great time, and that's how I see this area.
Whatever life throws at you, you say, I can do it. I can deal with it. And I do challenge the challenges. Walk with me, talk with me. This is a place of dreaming. It's so much that it can give you, how we give back to each other. And to all my non-Aboriginal brothers and sisters here, you are welcome, you are embraced. and we walk together in unity and in harmony. What we own, we share. What we take, we give. So thank you, each and every one of you, for being a part of our lives and sharing our culture, our country, our warmth and our generosity. Thank you.